Welcome to Vegan Method. In this video I'm making a cream of tomato soup. It's vegan, it's tasty, and it will keep you warm through the winter nights. So to make the soup we need 1 cup of vegetable broth, a can of chopped tomatoes. You can make this with fresh tomatoes if you'd like, but it's just easier to use canned tomatoes and tastes just as good. I've also got half a can of butter beans, an onion, some organic vegan butter, a teaspoon of brown sugar and 2 teaspoons of tomato puree. So the first thing we need to do is to chop the onions into small pieces, and we're going to put them into a pan with the olive oil to soften them up. The pan is preheated and I don't want the oil too hot because it will burn the onions, so it's just to saute them, to soften them, and then when they go into the blender it will actually blend a lot smoother. We add the tomato puree to the onions and give it a good stir. And now in goes the can of chopped tomatoes, and once again we just stir it round. So next in goes the butter beans. This is to add a creamy texture to the soup. We are going to add some butter later as well, which will also make it creamier, but the butter beans, they are the key to making this nice and creamy. Next I'm adding in the cup of vegetable stock. This is just a basic vegetable granule stock made with hot water, and then I'm also going to add the brown sugar. I'm now going to bring the soup to the boil and give it a few stirs. Once it reaches boiling I'm going to turn it down straight away to a simmer. So now I've turned the soup down and it's just simmering nicely. I'm just going to add the knob of butter and give it a stir. It's thickening up and it's starting to look like a really hearty, creamy soup. The soup is pretty much finished. The only thing left to do now is take it off the heat and let it cool for a few minutes before adding it to the blender, and then I'm going to go straight to the bowl from the blender instead of reheating it. So the soup goes into the blender, and this blender I'm using has a gap in the lid, so when it blends the heat will actually come out of the gap and it won't cause any pressure to build up. Be very careful when adding the hot soup to the blender, and probably do it a little classier than I just did. So the final thing to do is to blend the soup until it's smooth. You can put it through a strainer afterwards if you want to get any lumps that's missed, but I've gone straight into the bowl, ready to eat this tasty cream of tomato soup. So the only thing left to do is to add a little bit of seasoning of some salt and some pepper, and you have a very easy to make, creamy, tasty, tomatoey soup. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to like, subscribe and leave comments below.